Welcome to another edition of the WrightSights, and today's a little unusual because the better half of the WrightSights isn't here. Becky was not able to make it, so I'm going to give you a complete tour of Fort Christian in St. Thomas. And so this will take a few minutes, but if you're a vacationer here, whether a cruiser or if you're staying in one of the lovely resorts, you'll want to see if this is a place that you'd like to go. It's a pretty cool place. Let me do a 360 spin first. I'm right in the middle of Fort Christian in the courtyard. Now, Fort Christian started to be built in 1671. That is when the country of Denmark took control of what today is the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. So the first thing they did was to build this fortification. It's the oldest fortification still standing in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Fort Christian started to be built way back in 1671 and I believe was completed in 1678. Now, let me flip the camera around. Now, to get into the museum, it cost $10. And I do not believe there's any kind of guided tour. It is just a tour that you do yourself. Look at that really cool clock tower. This is a beautiful piece of Danish architecture. And the first thing you do is you go down into the dungeon. You can see it's clearly marked there. There are basically 3 levels to the museum. You have the dungeon, which is a museum, of course, today. You have the main area right here. And then I'll finish the video at the top with the overlooks. It's really cool. All right, so let's go down into the dungeon first of all. All right, so now let me take you around the main floor right now. And they have a lot of these set up the way they were back in the day. You'll also notice that a lot of the rooms are actually offices today. So this one is called the South Curtain. And this house, the lieutenants. So you can kind of see how small this room is. A kitchen back there. You can see the small windows looking out over the harbor. This room is dedicated to the Taino Indians. They were the first inhabitants of St. Thomas. Now, by the time the Danes got here, most of the Taino Indians would not have been around. They either fled the island or unfortunately succumbed to European diseases. So the Taino Indians were almost wiped out, unfortunately. So this gives a brief history of the Taino people. So this is one of the most interesting rooms on this main floor. This is a big statue, a bust of the first governor, Jorgen Iverson. And he was the one responsible for making this fort. He was a Lutheran, so he established this church inside the fort. It's a very nice area of the fort. And it served as a church until 1874. And then it was converted to a courtroom. And then next door to that, you can see some of the living areas for the governor himself. Of course, he would have had a nicer place to live. So these are kind of the most elegant rooms of the fort itself. You can kind of see in the distance there, the bedroom. All right, so that is the main level that surrounds this beautiful courtyard. All right, so now I'm gonna take you up to the top, the lookout, so to speak, so right up through this stairway, and it has some great views of the harbor. So we go up about 15 stairs or so, pretty steep. So if you have mobility issues, I don't think you can come up here because they don't have any kind of ramps. But wow, the view is really incredible up here. So let me flip the camera around. So this is the top of the fort, and you can see why it was built in this area, because it sits right on the harbor here in St. Thomas. So they would have had all sorts of cannons pointing out to the harbor, protecting the island of St. Thomas. Kind of see the main road down there today. Big fortifications. At each corner, they have these guard shacks here, guard towers, right here. And these cutouts in the wall, they would have had cannons, again, to protect Charlotte Amalie from any invaders like pirates and other people that would want to try to loot the island way back in the 16 and 1700s. You do get just beautiful views of the clock tower here. So that was a complete tour of Fort Christian here in St. Thomas. And that's what you get for $10. I think it was well worth it. It's a beautiful building, gives you a lot of history and some great views of the harbor. So tell us what you think. Make a comment if you visited Fort Christian. Is it worth the $10? What did you like most about it? And don't forget, it really helps us out if you like, subscribe, and comment on our videos. So I hope this video really helped you decide whether or not you should go to Fort Christian when you're on the beautiful island of St. Thomas.